my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind. This is my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind.
Welcome to Work the Left Side. It is just me on my Todd. There could have been 5 guests tonight, but everybody's busy. Nobody wants to talk to me, so I'm just going to sit here and drown in my crocodile tears. But before I do that, the whole point of this episode is to look back on last week's NCW Anarchy debut in the Carriage Works at Leeds. So yeah, I just want to sit down, have a little chit chat, and well, end up talking to you guys about what the show was, how it went about, the presentation. Was it any good? Were the matches any good? Was the talent any good? Yes, to answer all of the questions. The matches were awesome, the show was awesome, the talent was top notch, and the venue was superb. So it started with Monstrum versus Thomas Blood. 2 guys I'm not familiar with. Monstrum I know is way up north, so you know he's one of the Scottish guys that have come down to be on the show. Thomas Blood, I believe, was hailed as being from Newcastle. If he's not, I apologise, but I think that's where they said. Yeah, 2 big men slapping meat. There was some karate footage in Blood's entrance video. So, you know, I was expecting a few crane kicks or, you know, roundhouses, a bit of taekwondo. But no, just big men slapping meat, just doing what they do. We have now realised you cannot cheer on a wrestler called Blood without sounding like you want to be gangster. Because, you know, you're like, come on, Blood. And yeah, you know, just unless you're saying blap blap at the end, it ain't happening. So as opening matches go, this was perfect. You had the big guy in the mask who was the baddie, and you had Thomas Blood who was the out and out face. I've spoken to many people, many promoters, and they've always emphasised the importance of the first match on a card. You know, I presume a majority of fans are going to be wrestling fans. They know what the crack is, they know what's happening, but you've always got to cater for the people, the first time fans. And my cat is just being a crank. But yeah, that's what this show was. You know, this match, I would presume it was done intentionally. These guys know what they are doing. So I would presumed it was used for this purpose of, if you don't know wrestling, here's the good guy, here's the bad guy. Very obviously a bad guy, very obviously a good guy. Cheer this guy, boo this guy. That's it. You know, and they are training the audience what to do for later on. So kudos, because yeah, you know, that was very well done. And the second match was a tables elimination match with Seb Mercer, Axel the Klown, and KegStacker. This was the match. I know a lot of people beforehand were just like, what the fuck? What's going on? What is this match? You know, it's very trippy, very weird. 3 awesome talents, but not 3 awesome talents that you would legitimately think about putting in a match together. And then you have tables involved, and it's just craziness. So it works though. It works so well. Everybody loves Axel. We love Axel. You know, KegStacker, massive fan of. Hyped him up on this show many times. So happy to actually see him do his thing in person for the first time. I've obviously only really seen him doing his thing on YouTube, watching North videos or wrestling in Newcastle shows and stuff like that. So to see it in person, yeah, the dude's awesome. We love KegStacker. He's an absolute boss. And Seb Mercer, who is a pretty new face on the scene. There'll be a few people out there probably who'll be like, huh, who? well, yeah, the Emerald Bruiser, said Mercer. Go check out what he's done at Blackheart, a few other places as well. But Blackheart is a promotion, you know, that I would say go check out his work. You know, he had a match there recently against Sammy Blue. So yeah, elimination. So it all started off Axel being Axel, you know, the lovable clown, practicing putting up a table on the outside, scuffle, 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 and Seb went through the table first. And then, you know, we had a nice spot at the end with Axel and Keg. I'm not going to give away the results. I won't say who actually won this match. I'll let you know Seb went out first. But then it was down between Axel and Keg, you know, to who won the match. And yeah, again, it was fun. It was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And, you know, so far, 2 matches in, thoroughly entertained, having a great time. Having a drink. Third one, my boy Alton Thorne came out. He was meant to be fighting Tim Strange. Tim, I believe, is injured. So obviously, firstly, get well soon, Tim. You know, moo. We are part of the Moo World Order. And but yeah, so they basically, Alton Thorne came out, did what Alton Thorne does on the mic, cut a promo. Guy's awesome on the mic, you know, he's one of those guys you can just give him, if you've got 5 minutes to kill on the show, if something's run short or anything like that, if you need some time to fill in, just give Alton a mic. You're good. Everything's kosher. But then yes, his replacement opponent was Fulton King, another guy from north of the border who's made the journey down. And again, somebody I'm not overly familiar with. I know a lot of Scottish talent, but I only know sort of a certain clique, like within a certain group. And yeah, after this, I'm definitely going to be sort of looking to watch more Fulton King matches, because yeah, this dude, he's kind of got this thing about him. He's got this aura, this presence. It's just very, very cool. So him and Alton went out and just absolutely smashed it back and forth. Alton may have got out the ring and there may have been some minor infrastructure damage, but as I mentioned before, I don't think it wasn't Alton's fault. It wasn't anyone's fault. I think the floor, I don't know if they used if they put something down to kind of try and protect the floor, but it wasn't put down properly. So yeah, it is what it is. It's I think it looked a lot worse than it actually was. So this led us into match 4. So the last match before the intermission. And it was a 2 versus 2 hardcore titles match. So I missed this. I didn't know it was for this until the end of the match, and the winners got the belts. So it looks like obviously you got your hardcore champion, the top dog of the company, and then you've got these, like, it's basically a hardcore tag team belt, I would presume. That's the kind of thing, but it'll be, I'm presuming, for under Tornado tag rules. So yeah, you know, we had Jack Harrop and the Iceman versus the powers that be, which are Franco Fate and Brad Matthews. And again, if you know the show, if you know me, you know, I've had Franco on, I've had Brad on. I love both those guys. They're amazing. They're so cool at what they do. I'm legitimately hyped to see them kind of being involved in, like, one of the main storylines at True Grit at the minute with Sash. So to see Franco and Brad, you know, working as a tag team against Iceman and Jack, it was awesome. It was amazing. It was hard hitting. You know, there was chairs, there was bins, there was weapons, there was foreign objects. It was just absolute balls out, and all 4 guys absolutely tore it up. Obviously, it actually came out of the ring. By this point, they kind of tried to block out the front of the ring with the steel guardrails to prevent anyone from falling into the hole. It wasn't, you know, they weren't, but everyone was like, you know, you've got to fall in. So they had to stay away from the front, which, again, you know, you'll pick up on this. Anybody who's there will probably attest to, will have noticed that a lot of stuff was obviously happening at the side of the rings because it couldn't happen at the front, which yeah, it kind of changed the dynamic of it all a little bit. It didn't ruin anything. It was still a great show, and the matches were great. But it would have been nice to kind of have the action taking place where it was supposed to take place, which was like right here. So, but apart from that, yeah. But all four guys legitimately just went to town and just delivered an absolute banger of a tornado tag. You know, it wasn't even a tag match. It was just four guys going at it. Action was here, action was there, action was everywhere. And yeah, very hard to follow, but in a really good way. You was just kind of like, fuck, where do I look, where do I look, where do I look, where do I look? Ah, damn, shit. You know, yeah, hyped. Every one of these matches, you know, I don't know what NCW are planning on doing, if they're going to upload the full show on the YouTube for free, if they're going to do like a streaming thing or an on-demand thing. But, you know, when this does get put out for public consumption for you all to watch, highly recommend this match. You know, you will enjoy it. So, intermission time, bish bash bosh, go for a cheeky toke, come back in. And it is time for Moxie Malone versus Melissa Fierce. And again, Moxie Malone, somebody from up north, has come down south. Melissa Fierce, seen her a few times at True Grit, know what she can do. She's fierce, you know. It's not just a name. So her and Moxie's amazing though. You know, again, Scottish wrestler, just works so well. I mean, I haven't seen, I'm sure they're up there, they're everywhere, you know, not everybody can be awesome, but obviously I've never seen them because they don't get booked, but I've never seen a bad wrestler come down from Scotland at a show, you know. And you can always kind of tell as well, they've kind of got that style, they've got that kind of just presence about them, that grit, that determination, that work rate. Just the way that they work is awesome. So massive mark for a lot of the Scottish guys that come down. And yeah, these two ladies just tore it up. Melissa Fierce hit a 619. Connected a little bit too snug, I think, with Moxie's nose, as Moxie was just bleeding a little bit afterwards. I don't know why I went like that. It kind of implied that she was face full of blood. It wasn't. It's just like a trope, you know. She just kind of, yeah, must have caught her nose, bit of blood. And yeah, but they just kept fighting back and forth. The fans, the thing as well with this show, I think, is barring the first match, you know, there was, everybody kind of was rooting for somebody else. Like I sort of said, that first match set the tone by having a clear face and a clear heel. Whereas pretty much for the rest of the show, barring the main event actually, I think the main event was the only other match that had a decisive, right, we don't want that guy to win, we want that guy to win. I think every other match, everybody else was kind of like, you know, well, if they win, that's cool. If they win, that's cool as well. You know, hey, both these guys. So yeah, good match. But this led us to the match of the night that I was looking forward to. You know, I wanted to see my sexy goth boy against Jack Bennett in a ladder match. And I was going to say briefcase. It wasn't a briefcase. It looked like a lunchbox. You know, above the ladder, 20 foot in the air, was a lunchbox with a contract that enabled the winner to have a title shot. And yeah, you know, as expected, Isaac North turned up and just did what Isaac North does. He was just a big scary man who was just demolishing Jack at times. You know, Jack got his licks in, back and forth. Some awesome moments. You know, there's one bit where Jack hits the rope, well, hits the ladder that's in the ropes, and they both kind of go over, and it's just like, oh, there's plenty of moments that just made you go, ooh, ah. So yeah, again, when this comes out for public consumption, this would be my first, you know, if you're going to watch any match first, obviously watch the entire show numerous times, but watch this match first. See Isaac North do what Isaac North does. It's not very often we get to see him down here, so that's why I was really hyped. You know, guys over at freaking Infamous and Pro Wrestling for You and all those places, you know, they get to see him all the time. They're lucky fuckers. So yeah, I was hyped to see Isaac. And you know, the cool spots, nice power bomb off the ladder, aiming for a big plastic tray. It was a bit too close to the ladder. Isaac kind of he kind of missed it. Still a sick looking bump. You know, it's not a bump I would want to take. You know, onto plastic in I don't know, fucking Tupperware on roids or something, whatever it was. It was a huge plastic thing. If it had landed on that, would have hurt like a motherfucker. He didn't land on that, still hurt like a motherfucker. So you know, it's ouch, ouch either way. So yeah, banging match, but that took us then to the main event, which was Lou King Sharp versus B.A. Rose Uncle Deathmatch. Lou came out on the mic. You know, he got Bobby Cash to sing the Scottish national anthem. He tried to get Sandy Beaches to sing it. Sandy said no. So he gave Sandy a mouthful, and Sandy just like, see you later, mate, adios, and then got in his face. Very cool moment. It's just, you know, got the ref involved. Sandy's boss, you know, she does it. I've seen her get involved in matches at you know, Tidal. I saw her get involved in the musical chairs. That was awesome. Sandy's very good. Sandy's one of the best refs in this country, in my opinion, when she's just doing the reffing stuff. But if you incorporate it into the storylines, or she has to interact with the wrestlers, she's got that on point as well, and it's cool to see. So then obviously B.A. Rose came out, his music kicked in, everything kind of calmed down for about 1 second, and then yeah, B.A. Rose came out, did his entrance, got in the ring, and it was just carnage in the best possible way. You know, it was, I don't know what obviously the plans were, but obviously they couldn't do anything at the front of the ring, as I mentioned before. So it was all at the sides, and they went up the steps. They fought in the seats behind me. They rolled down the seats because it was a tiered seating thing. Somebody got put on a skateboard and pushed down some steps. B.A. Rose had a toilet seat plumped around his neck with the seat bashing his head. There was crutches. There were signs. There were bins. There was, I didn't know what they were called, but now I do. There's something called angel wings, where Ludix was bent over and B.A. Rose were like rubbing the top of his back, and then it was just like bam. I can see why it's called angel wings. I get the name now after seeing it having been done. So, and then yeah, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Hard hitting action. B.A. hits his sort of power driver maneuver. If it's got a name, I apologise. I just kind of know it as the underhook power driver onto some chairs. Was it enough to win? Well, I know, but I'm not going to spoil it for you guys because you'll have to wait and see when you watch it properly. And then yeah, you know, the match was done. We was like, hey, okay, awesome debut. I was happy. You know, we'd had 7 awesome matches, not a bad match on the card. Everybody delivered. Everybody gave their all. But the show wasn't done. The Scottish guys came out to get Lou's back. Monstrum came out, Fulton came out, and Moxie Malone came out, and they just put a whooping on B.A. Rose. So it was kind of very much like a, the people from up north, apparently not a big fan of the English. So, or maybe just not a fan of the Yorkshire people, I don't know. You know, they might like other people, they might like Newcastle people, they might like Scousers. They don't like Yorkshire people, as far as I can tell. So, yeah, they all gave a beat down on B.A. Rose, left him lying, which is pretty much, I'm presuming, I'm going to sort of go out on a limb and say, seeing as the last show of the year is called the Great British Brawl, I'm presuming we're going to have Scotland versus Yorkshire or Scotland versus England, you know. There's 2 shows in between though, so I'm hoping, obviously, you know, it's kind of but in my head I've got like some crazy WWE invasion angle, you know. I'm expecting like Lance Storm to come out and super kick somebody, you know. I've Fulton could turn up at the next show and just, I don't know, super kick Isaac North or something, or, you know, just keep planting the seeds, keep telling that story so it's building and building and building until we get to the final show. Massive shout out as well. I'd be amiss if I didn't mention the ring announcer for the debut show, the one, the only Bob Cash. My man was on fire Friday night. He came out, he worked the crowd. If anybody was quiet at any point, he got them loud, he got them worked up, he interacted, he engaged with the audience, he worked the audience, he kept us involved. And yeah, again, you know me, you know this show, you know our connection with True Grit. Obviously, Bobby Cash is the announcer at True Grit, so I know how good he is. You know, that's, I don't know, that's more not serious, but it's a bit more of a serious face Bobby Cash. Whereas apparently Bob Cash, big laughs, a lot of fun. Still looking dapper though, you know, he's not in his Rise flannels, but yeah, a massive shout out. You know, I'm just taking the mic. Bobby's great everywhere at Rise, True Grit, and he was great at NCW. You know, it's probably, I always hype up how important refs are for a wrestling show. A ring announcer as well. A ring announcer can, you know, make or break. You know, they've got to keep the fans engaged in between matches. If there's a few minutes to kill, they've got to be able to work that audience. They've got to be able to pull that audience in. If you've got a shit ring announcer, mate, in those 2 minutes, the audience can just be like, that's it, I'm turned, I'm off, I'm out, see ya. You know, it's going to take a lot to get me back in. With Bobby, that's never the case. We're always tuned in, we're always ready. So yeah, Mr. Bobby Cash, kudos. So as far as debut shows go, hit the mark, perfect. Obviously the big thing about it was, you know, it was a free show. They decided to put the debut show on for free, and so a lot, hopefully, you know, a lot of people turned up, and hopefully, you know, a large percentage of those will be at the next show in May. Obviously, the deciding factor will be how much they decide to charge for the tickets. So this is something I'm like, do I talk about it? Do I not talk about it? You know, hopefully I've interacted with the NCW guys enough that they know whatever I say is not in a gnarly way. I'm not being malicious about it. I'm just kind of putting it out there. I'm just talking about the information that I know, and anything I say, you know, I want all promotions to do well. You know, I want NCW to go on and do amazing things. You know, it's somewhere else for talent to get booked. I don't get why people want promotions to fail, or why people neg on promotions. You know, it gives somebody a payday, it gives somebody a place to learn, some experience. So yeah, I want NCW to do amazing. I want them to shoot for the moon and fucking land there. But, you know, it depends on what they do next. They've made a great first impression. The venue is awesome. The talent is amazing. So, like I sort of said, half of that card I'd not seen before, and I was hyped to see him. I'll be hyped to see him again. The matches they put on, yeah, legit awesome. So, would I pay £35 to go watch it? I can't say yes or no. Unfortunately, you know, at those prices, it depends what else I've got on. You know, what are the commitments I've got on at any given month. At the minute, and that's the thing, at the minute, money is tight for a lot of people. You know, I share a lot of promotions, shows, you know, what shows they've got coming up. I see a lot of prices, and I see them varying. You know, obviously, you know, I mentioned before, you know, wrestling in Newcastle, 10 quid. Wrestle Island, 10 quid. You know, True Grit, 20 quid. That's fine. You know, it's 20 quid. And that was deemed quite expensive at one point by some people. So you got a promotion turning up, well, it's charged 35 quid. You know, and I get why. You know, the venue is amazing. It looks like nothing else I've ever been to. So, you know, you've got that factor, it pops. But, you know, is that enough to make me want to pay 35 quid? The talent is amazing. But is that enough to make me want to pay 35 quid a ticket? I want to, don't get me wrong, I would pay it in a heartbeat if I could. You know, I want to support this promotion. But it's not always about if I can, it's do I have the money to do it? You know, I'd love to say, mate, I'm fucking million. I'd love to go Sash and just be like, yeah, fuck it, you know, I'll buy everybody a ticket, let's go. So I don't know if that's going to be too much for some people. I hope it isn't, and I hope when the tickets go on sale for May, I've got the money. You know, it's close to my birthday. Who knows? Maybe I'll just get someone to buy me a ticket for my birthday. You know, that's it. Bosh, jobs are good. And if the second show is anything like this, then I will bust a nut to try and get a ticket to go. I really want to go. I really want to support it, and I would encourage anyone who didn't make the first show, get to the second one, go check it out. If it's half as good as the first one, you will enjoy it. And yeah, these guys know what they're doing. This was only the first show, and they're already planting seeds. They've already got me thinking about what's going to be happening 2 or 3 shows, 4 shows down the road. So they have a long-term plan. They know what they're doing. So Ryan and everybody at NCW, congratulations. Smashed it out of the park. Home run. Well done. So yeah, I said this was going to be, I decided to make this more challenging for myself because, you know, it's just me. I fucking hate talking to myself. I do it in my head all day. Why do I want to do it on camera? But I need an episode. I've done the match graphic. So let's nut up or shut up, and let's have a quick look at True Grit this Saturday. We are back in Left Bank in Leeds, and it is the follow-up to the last show in York. And the last show in York ended, storytelling, mate, storytelling, mwah, amazing. And so amazing, in fact, I know people that are coming to the Left Bank show in Leeds that don't normally go to the Leeds shows. They only go to the York shows, but they go to the Leeds ones because the York show ended on such a cliffhanger with such a good story being told. They're like, we can't miss this next show. Fuck that. We need to go to Leeds. So they're going to Leeds. They're going to Left Bank. They're going to watch the show, see what happens between JC and the regime. I still can't see it. So they're going to go to see what happens between JC, Franco, Brad and Sash against Team Wes, which is Team Wes is obviously Wesley and Serico, Crashboat and Joey Slade. And the stipulation being is if Team JC wins, Wes is gone. If Team Wes wins, he gets a one-on-one match with JC at a future show. So there are stakes. There are stakes on for this match. Obviously, the York show ended as well with Kemper getting a whooping, getting a beating. You know, he had a title shot. He didn't win the title due to shenanigans and gaga. Whether Kemper turns up at Left Bank to get some revenge, I don't know. If he doesn't, as much as a fan of Kemper as I am, you know, I'm also a massive mark for the blueprint that I call Vusyk, and he gets another shot at Brady. And this time, Riley Nova is in a shark tank. So he's in a cage on the stage, full of rage. I can't think of any more words. So yeah, he's in a cage, and to stop Riley from interfering, obviously, as he has been doing these last few matches, you know, given the fact that he's Brady's bitch boy. So yeah, Vusyk, Brady, one-on-one. Well, I say one-on-one, you know, we've still got Franco, Brad and Sash who could play a part. Maybe somebody else could play a part. Maybe somebody else turns up. Who knows? Wrestling. So yeah, you know, that's. I was going to say that's the main event. That's not the main event. We'll get to the main event afterwards. I'm so used to the Brady matches being the main event, but Mr. Bobby Cash changed that this time, so he's not in the spotlight. Other matches though at True Grit, we have Lana Austin versus Holly Barlow, and I don't need to tell you all about Lana Austin. You know, she's a living legend in British wrestling. Holly Barlow, if you don't know about, god damn, why? I've seen her at other promotions, you know, via the socials. I've seen her at True Grit a couple of times now. I've seen her at Tidal. She had a banging match against Lily Winter. And she is awesome. She is probably, I would say, the fastest rising star in the women's division in the UK at the moment. See her while you can, basically. You know, I don't think we're going to have her for too long. I think, you know, if the UK scene gets snapped up again by anybody, I think she will be one of those ones that gets snapped up very quickly. She is very, very good at what she does. She embodies a character. Her work is amazing. So yeah, you know, this match in itself will be apparently, you know, they're good friends, better enemies, so they know each other really well, and that will come across in the ring, I am sure. So the other matches we have, we've got Mega Calibre making his debut at True Grit against Billy O'Keefe, the standout Billy O'Keefe. We can no longer say, well, I can't say it after the last review show, you know, that got put to rest. So he's just the standout Billy O'Keefe against, yeah, you know, this new lucha, this new masked guy in True Grit. I'm hyped for this match. You know, I'm lucky enough to know who's underneath that mask, and they are one of my favourite human beings on this planet. They are very, very good at what they do. They know wrestling. So them and Billy together, I think it's just going to be a suspenseful pause while I have a drink. Awesome. It's going to be awesome. If they're given time to do what they can do, yeah, this will be a top-notch match. 10-15 minutes, let these guys go at it. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a work of art. So we also have Adam Bolt versus Jason Joshua. Again, two awesome human beings. You know, Adam Bolt I've hyped up so many times on this show. You know, for me, you know, I'm looking at him and he's just like, I'm seeing Perfect, I'm seeing Henning, I'm seeing Michaels, I'm seeing Ziggler, you know, that kind of guy who can just, he could sell ice to a fucking Eskimo. You know, dude is just that good. He's just, his offense is good, but he makes his opponent look amazing as well just by selling. And to be fair though, Jason Joshua doesn't need any help in looking good. Jason Joshua is good. He is very good. And the size-wise as well, you know, he's a big boy packing them muscles. And it'll work really well because, yeah, you know, Adam can fly around. He'll bump. He'll make Jason look like an absolute hoss. But in the best way possible. And it's just going to be an awesome match. If Jackie T is there, obviously, you know, he's going to have Adam's back. Again, looking forward to this match. I'm looking forward to every match of True Grit, just so I don't have to say it after every one. We've also have Nathan Black versus Paul Stewart, and this is, I would say, chapter 3 in the Nathan Black Paul Stewart story. Obviously started off with Nathan sort of sending his boys NRG to take on Wes and Paul. Wes and Paul were victorious. NRG vanquished in shame. Paul then eliminated Nathan in the Rumble. Nathan gave him a good whooping afterwards and threw him headfirst into a concrete pillow, which sounded horrific. I was concentrating on the Rumble at the time and I just heard this fucking awful noise. I just kind of looked across. Yeah, there's Paul on the floor. What happened? Yeah, he got thrown into the pillow, mate. Oh, damn. So, yeah, that is, and this is obviously the final chapter. Well, it might be, I'm presuming, so I don't know. But yeah, and as of today, JC made this a no DQ match. So, which is, I've been mithering Bobby on socials all week. I'm like, dude, make it no Q, make it no DQ, make it street fight, do something, give Paul a chance. And obviously Bobby was, you know, it's like, well, you know, if it's a wrestling match, at least Nathan has to follow some rules. You know, he has to stay within the sides of the rules, and you know, you can't do anything underhanded. I'm like, yeah, you know, he doesn't need to do anything on it. He's a wrestler. He's fighting a fan. That's the thing that's been put across as well. Paul Stewart he's a fan. He's a fan that's been put in a shitty situation in front of his kids, and he's had to step up. He's had to set an example. He's had to having to fight as a dad. You know, that is who he is. You know, he's not a wrestler. So for me, I don't know. I mean, I think my brain's been conditioned that if a wrestler isn't in a fight with somebody who isn't a wrestler, I don't know, back in the day when Taker took on Ric Flair, when Ric Flair wasn't a wrestler anymore and he was just a businessman, or whenever really Mac was in the ring, you know, he was a chairman, he wasn't a wrestler. You know, it was always a no DQ, it was always a street fight, it was also sort of like a hardcore match, you know, to give the non-wrestling persona a chance. You know, that was their equalizer, the fact that they could use a weapon, they could use a candlestick, they could use a chair. You know what I mean? Yeah, you want to hit me with a DDT, I'll hit you with a fucking chair. Bosh, job's a good one. But it's just, yeah, it's kind of confused me that JC's been the one that's come out and been like, oh, let's make it a no DQ match. So I'm like, hang on a minute, the heel persona in this has made it a no DQ match, not the face persona. Am I a heel? Or was I wrong in thinking that making it a no DQ match would be a good thing? You know, have I just been lied to all these years? So yeah, we'll see what happens. And again, you know, on the plus side, Paul can, if Paul wants to, you know, he could have 5 people still behind him. You know, anybody that's pissed at Nathan, take a number, mate, stand behind me, let's kick shit out of him. So I think there'll be a few people who don't like Nathan Black and would want to punch him in the face. So I think Paul will have adequate backup if needed. So yeah, it's going to be a good match anyway. You know, as much as I'm kind of questioning stuff, again, I love True Grit, I love JC. I have nothing but faith in those guys. You know, they know what they're doing. I'm just being a smart ass fan. So whatever they do is right. Whatever I say is wrong. You know, I hold my hands up. Which then takes us into our main event. This was Bobby Cash's first executive order. The main event is Wagon versus NashBoat. NashBoat, that team who have never won a match, getting a title shot at True Grit, you say? Yes, because they eliminated Anderson at the Rumble. So by True Grit Rumble rules, if you eliminate a tag team champion, you get a title shot at the tag team titles. So all the fans rejoiced. We all love NashBoat. And now we get to see them in the main event at True Grit on the 1st of March at Left Bank in Leeds against Wagon. Will they win? Will the fans go home happy? After the York show and the beatdown and the shenanigans and the faces being left standing, and the faces being beaten down and the heels, you know, being the ones that left victorious, and, you know, kids crying and having to buy masks to, you know, stop crying, which is, you know, very heelish promoter tactics 101. I think, you know, I can't see it happening that way twice. I can't see it ending on a downer. You know, I mean, again, I'm just presuming, I'm kind of trying to read it as if be like, well, okay, based as a wrestling fan, from what we know, what we've been told over the years, how we experience stuff, how we know about stuff, or to have 2 shows end on a downer would be fucking questionable. I know JC likes to sell them masks, but there's only so many times you can make kids cry before child support gets involved. So, you know, for me personally, NashBoat are winning this. The fans are going to rejoice. You know, there'll be a party in the streets. There'll be fucking fireworks and everything just going off. And we will have new tag team champions. NashBoat will be standing tall. So yeah, you know, I'm so excited at the thought of NashBoat winning the belts that I'm legitimately just like, lost for words. So no, that is, you know, that's the 7 matches at True Grit on Saturday. It's True Grit. It's going to be a great show. You know what I mean? They're telling the stories at the minute, which I think is key. They went through a period where it kind of like, yeah, but you know, it was one step back, 5 steps forward. So you know, they are on fire. They are doing what they're doing. You know, we are so proud to be associated with them, and it's just, yeah, this show's gonna be amazing. So I'm looking forward to it. Will Vusyk beat Brady? Nope. Brady will find a way to retain, even with the bitch boy in the cage, and because you know Kemper got done dirty in York, Kemper's story isn't finished yet. Kemper's still the one for me who will take the belt from Brady. But I've said it before, it's got to be on the second or the third match. They've already had the first match, and I was so glad he didn't win, which sounds fucking stupid, but you know why if you know me, or you watch the show, you know the point I'm making. So yeah, Kemper's got to be the one to dethrone Brady. But man, if by any reason or by any sort of, if Vusyk does win though, mate, I will absolutely pop. Again, Kemper or Vusyk, two of my favourite guys. I love what they do. I love watching them work. I love their matches. So either one of them for me. Storyline wise, it just makes sense for Kemper to be the one to do it. But if Vusyk gets it, mate, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to grumble. I'm not going to begrudge him getting the title. He deserves it. He's one of the best in this country for a reason. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop talking now because there's no other faces for you all to look at. You just all kind of had to sit here and look at my ugly mug for the last 40 odd minutes. So I apologise. I was in two minds about doing it like this so you didn't have to look at me. But yeah, that is it. So roundup is NCW smashed it. Awesome debut show. Legitimately hyped to see what they do next. And this Saturday, we have an amazing show by True Grit to look forward to. If you don't have a ticket yet, get yourself a ticket. Get yourself to Left Banks, one of the best venues in the country. You know, wrestlers hype it up, fans hype it up for a reason. The atmosphere is amazing, the venue is amazing, the matches will be amazing, the promotion is amazing. You know, why wouldn't you be there? So we will see you at True Grit on Saturday. And remember, always work the left side.